En el centro de la pampa vive un pimiento. Sol y viento pa' su vida, sol y viento. Sol y viento pa' su vida, sol y viento.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Patrick Bernard. Bienvenue à la 142e édition du Piment. C'est Vendredi Saint. Bienvenue à notre visite annuelle au terrain de Technoparc. Hello, I'm Patrick Barnard. Welcome to the 142nd edition of the Pimento Report. We're here in the Technoparc lands near the airport in Montreal. We're here for a Good Friday spring little pilgrimage, watching the birds here in these precious lands. This is the third time we've done this, so off we go.
We don't have great weather, but it'll probably be perfect for us this morning. J'aimerais dire merci à beaucoup. Il y a plusieurs participants des groupes d'ornithologues. Il y a aussi des gens en dehors de l'île de Montréal. Est-ce qu'il y a du monde en dehors de l'île de Montréal? Nice! Nice!
Alors Joël, c'est la troisième fois qu'on est ici pour notre rite du printemps. C'est quoi l'importance de ces terrains ici?
Qu'est-ce qui est spécial de ces terrains puis ce secteur de l'île de Montréal, c'est que on retrouve plusieurs types d'habitats. Il n'y a pas seulement un milieu humide, mais vous avez des boisés, des forêts, des champs qui vont attirer une variété d'oiseaux. Et sur l'île de Montréal, c'est rare qu'on retrouve autant d'espèces dans un certain secteur. Il n'y a aucun parc nature, aucun, même Mont-Royal, que vous allez trouver une grande variété d'oiseaux comme ça. Et l'important, c'est que c'est bien de protéger ces habitats-là. Et malheureusement, ce site, il n'a peut-être pas été aussi bien suivi côté études. Et là, les dernières années, on se rend compte que ce territoire, il est très sensible à le développement et qui va avoir un impact sur les oiseaux.
Obviously.
Oh, I can see the goose.
Yeah,
I see one of them through the. Yeah.
A bird.
There's another pair back there.
I don't. You're being modest.
Lisa Mintz, this is the third spring that we're here at the Technoparc lands to look at the birds. Remind us, why are we here?
We're here to save these lands for the birds and the other animals that use it. For example, behind me, that used to be a marsh. It no longer is. Over there used to be a forest where the green herons nested. Now it's a big hole that they're using to dig the ramp. This area is encroached on all sides by the federal people. The ADM wants to use this area as a hangars. Over on that side, they wanted to make this into Technoparc. The RAM wants to use it. Everybody wants a piece of it. And this is like a huge green space, the last large wetlands on the island of Montreal, the #1 birding spot on the island of Montreal. And so everybody, but it's in the corner. It's like the Falaises. It's in the corner. It's between Dorval and Saint Laurent, and nobody. It's been left alone until now. Now everybody wants a piece of it because there's nothing left.
David Fletcher of the Green Coalition, this is the third of these annual celebrations of spring in the Technoparc lands. Why are they important for Montrealers?
Because they might be the last. We're seeing on Montreal Island the last of the very precious natural spaces, this being a prime example among birding sites on Montreal Island, and it's beset all around as with the rest of the island, and it's a loss for Montreal. It's an impoverishment for the citizens of Montreal, and it's shameful that our politicians allow this to proceed. You know, we have young people now here in North America and in Europe, young 16-year-olds taking the lead on climate change, and we're hearing now in places like London that young people are going to bat for biodiversity and for the loss of species that we're witnessing everywhere. And so this particular place is a natural infrastructure, if you want to call it that, that provides services to wildlife and to people, because we benefit. We benefit spiritually, and we benefit in manifest ways in relation to getting our physical needs met. A healthy environment is crucial to the long-term health and safety of the planet, including the people on it, and our politicians simply drag their feet.
What kind of birds can you hear already this morning?
So I've heard song sparrows, cardinals, red-winged blackbirds. I saw a pileated woodpecker, a raven. Like, there's birds everywhere. They're just everywhere. And the sun's coming out now, and it's just like, it's birdie heaven.
Well, this is really exciting because it's a good day, because there's been plenty of migration overnight. We can tell because the birds are very active. Some of our top field guides that are here today, they've spotted already some new arrivals and a couple of rare birds. So it looks good for the final day. I have a feeling we might have a record day compared to our last couple of Good Friday walks. So.
Now, in the past years, you've made the argument for the environmental protection of these lands. Do you feel that argument is as important as ever?
I think so, and I think it's always important not to give up. It's so easy to just say, oh, it's a lost cause or it's too late. It's not too late. Many of these lands, there's many owners, but there's nothing, everything's on paper and nothing is planned for the moment. And there's especially a certain area of the ADM where we find some endangered species and threatened species which are nesting there. And those lands can be protected if the federal government can sort of wake up and
the ADM is the Aéroport de Montréal, the Montreal Airport.
Yes, and they have lands as well as the Gulf of Dorval, which are it's a beautiful area. It's a beautiful gulf as well, but on paper they'd like to just expand the airport and develop it. But the problem is it's a very rich, valuable environment. And I think people have to look at it carefully, because the number of species of birds that nest there, it's an indication that your environment is very healthy.
Good Friday, a day when a Christian church reflects on a crucifixion of Jesus, and in a sad way this is a different form of a crucifixion, but very much real. Can we as human beings recognize the value of wild space and how we relate to it? And can we then change our systems and our way of valuing things, that the destruction this local special place represents is avoided? That's the huge issue, and so focusing on this Technoparc area as an example of how we can and might change is very valuable.
Well, I'm here, as I've been here many times, to try to protect this critical habitat. We have a wildlife oasis here. I mean, we're next to the airport. We hear the planes taking off, and yet, for whatever reason, this micro-habitat is there, incredibly biodiverse. We have endangered species colonizing the area. It is a jewel to be protected. It's federal lands, and this is why I'm here to try and get the federal government to protect this little eco-jewel that we have on the island of Montreal for the future generations.
So like St. Francis, we should listen to the birds.
Well, yes, I guess we should listen to the birds, but birds don't vote. People vote. So important that people and birders and nature lovers in Montreal, in the area, express their vote, saying we will vote for the birds because the birds can't vote, and tell the federal politicians that coming in October, if you don't protect this wetland, maybe you will not get a vote.
In environmental circles, there's something called the Central Park effect. In brief, it means wherever you have green space in urban areas, the birds will find it. So the birds have been telling us that these lands are important. Have our politicians been listening to the birds?
It has been really difficult to get anybody to listen to stuff about Technoparc. We did manage to get, Joel managed to get a whole bunch of politicians just before the election to come and take a walk out here. And people think it's a really beautiful and special place, but nobody's actually doing anything about it.
Alors, Monsieur Green, vous êtes ici encore. C'est notre troisième fois pour faire cette célébration de printemps ici. Pourquoi est-ce que vous êtes ici?
Mais parce qu'on veut préserver un des derniers marécages, une des dernières zones humides, productives, incroyable biodiversité. Ici à Montréal, il y a de peu en peu d'espaces naturels, de zones humides, de marécages à Montréal. C'est un habitat unique. Ça a été prouvé avec des observations, justement, des ornithologues amateurs qui ont documenté la biodiversité de la région. Alors, c'est une zone à protéger. Il y a une élection fédérale qui arrive. On est sur des terrains fédéraux. Il faut que le gouvernement Trudeau protège la zone Technoparc qui reste, la zone naturelle qui reste pour les prochaines générations.
But nothing has been done to actually save this place.
In February 2020, there will be a lawsuit, the Green Coalition of Montreal, against Ville Saint-Laurent and Technoparc, or what was Technoparc, in order to stand up for these lands in a courtroom. That's a few months away, to put it mildly. What do you expect will come out of that trial?
Well, we actually feel like we're going to win that trial. The only problem is they've been putting it off. It's been over a year now. We've been waiting to get back to this trial. We lost the first time, but that was because we didn't have the experts that we needed. We have them now. We're going to win if we ever get back into the courtroom.
When you say we, you're speaking as a member of the board of the Green Coalition,
That
and the
is
Green
correct.
Coalition is the plaintiff.
Yes.
Right. So you think the Green Coalition is going to win in its struggle to protect these lands for environmental reasons?
I think so. I also just want to mention one thing. A lot of this land that we're trying to protect has an endangered species, the least bittern, on it. We have proof it has been nesting here for the past 3 summers, and we will get proof again this year. We have sent this proof to Catherine McKenna, and she's totally ignored us because we want to get the federal lands declared protected habitat for the least bittern. That would at least protect the federal lands. This land that we're standing on right now is municipal land. I just want to mention that Technoparc, which used to own this, was deemed to be unfit to be doing anything by the Montreal government, so the Montreal government refused to fund them this year, and they're closing. They were about to build 10 buildings on this land here, and Montreal owns this. They can do whatever they want with it. It's up to them to pick up. It's up to these people to pick up the ball.
On a canard branchu.
Yes.
Canard chipot.
No.
Gallois, no. Canard d'Amérique, American widgeon. Canard noir, black duck. Canard colvert.
Yes.
Mallard. Cercelle bleu.
En el centro de la pampa vive un pimiento. Sol y viento pa' su vida, sol y viento, sol y viento pa' su vida.